Kia ora, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. We're not actually live tonight, but you won't know that because if you're watching us tomorrow, it's James for Team CP Media here in Lockdown 2.0. And the man that loves a captive audience, he's bringing you the COVID goodies right out of the COVID sweet cupboard is Team Captain Richard Greer. Brought to you by Team CP this evening, your endurance coaching specialists. Welcome to the show and welcome to the hot seat. Richard, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. We're having this a day later. We're running out of Kiwi and West Melton's sort of hotspot internet. So currently, right now, we're feeling pretty good about that. So no, things are good. Hey, it's cool to be able to jump back on our podcast and share with our community and be involved. And we've got a really fun show lined up, haven't we, there, James?
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to be able to. You and I were talking about this the other day, weren't we? And there was going to be a bit of a. We thought, well, everybody's kind of sitting at home, and wouldn't it be great to get something together? And the worlds have conspired, and we've both ended up in the hot seat through one thing and another. And it's great to have something for people to watch and listen, even if it is a day later. And it'll be Thursday, I think, when this is coming out, which is, good things take time, just like a fine wine or cheese. So it's a little bit like
going. Yeah, how's your lockdown going, James? What have you been up to recently?
Look, I mean, you and I know that it was a little bit gutting when it was announced. We were supposed to be away training for mountain biking. So once I got over the initial disappointment of that, I settled into a nice routine. I'm actually at home in the tiny house bubble by myself, which is a little bit sad. I've left my teammates stuck in the North Island. But it's been really good. I've been outside doing jobs, plenty of jobs, which I don't usually get done. So I'm happy ticking them off half a job per day, pretty much. So they stretch over 2 days. But how about you? How are you going in your lockdown bubble?
Yeah, good. Same as you. It was probably 24 hours of tears for me after having 4 days of mountain biking with the lads lined up, and then that didn't happen in Rotorua. So that was a bit sad. I have to say, when it was announced, the kids were jumping up and down. Yay, we don't have to go to school, and I was like, just go to the shower. I don't want to talk about it. But there was a double custard square that did it for me. That brought me back out, actually. And after that, life wasn't so bad. And that evolved into the Team CP Baking Challenge, which has actually gone a little bit viral and a little bit out of hand almost. So we'll have to see if we can put together a bit of a Team CP lockdown recipe book, I think, to pull that together.
Yeah, it's sort of gone next level, really, hasn't it? Last lockdown, it was just breads and things like that. But this year, it's gone, whoa, it's well and truly up there. We leveled up performance. Yeah. We've gone from zone 2 to zone 4 very quickly.
It's definitely dangerous, isn't it? I mean, we've got to make sure we do a little bit of exercise to offset the amount of calories intaken by that. But I think I'm probably fortunate the fact I've got four kids that are sort of I have to fight for to even make sure I get something. So that does help, actually. Otherwise, if I ate it all myself, I'd be a complete mess.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, now that we haven't got any mountain biking training for the Fokker 100, you're in a bit of trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Nice work. And so good to hear that that's going well, and hopefully that list doesn't continue to grow as you get orders from the North Island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there'll always be jobs, but the luxury of lockdown is there's at this stage there's always tomorrow. But it has made us think, really, hasn't it, about the importance of checking in with people. And I've been checking in with some of the people that I'm working with and people outside of Team CP as well. And it's really important at this sort of uncertain time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. We don't really know how long this is going to last. And people are sort of cope and deal with this differently. Depending on what's going on. Some people, businesses are stressed as a result of this and things. So, super important. It's been good to really sort of connect with a bunch of our athletes and people around the place just to make sure everyone is doing okay. And I think it's also, like, we haven't had a podcast for a couple of weeks. It's probably also important to acknowledge a couple of weeks back, we learned about the tragic passing of elite level track cyclist Olivia Podmore. So as a young Christchurch rider, I'd followed her career pretty closely, really, and that was super, super sad and super unfortunate, and really want to use this opportunity to send our condolences to her family and friends. It's so tough, isn't it? And it's great to hear the conversation going on around mental health and well-being and sport as supposed to be a thing that we enjoy and helps our wellness. So when it really affects us, it's pretty tough. So again, it just goes back to making sure that we look after ourselves. We get the most out of the session that we're doing, and also maybe we don't also have to do every session either, because that doesn't make a season, as you've talked about, James. So take time out if you need to, and then also, as you've mentioned before, you're only one run away from a good mood, aren't you? So looking after ourselves with some exercise is also really important. So yeah, good to just check in with others and make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's just to show how important that space really is. It's sadly coincidental that we had two high-performance mental health advocates, and Anna Simsick and Eddie Dawkins, both on the show recently, and John Quinn as well, and all three of them doing really, really fantastic work and that mental health space for high-performance sport, which is really important for all of us, as you've talked about over this uncertain lockdown period. And while it's nice to be at home, that uncertainty does create distance from our usual communities and people that we usually interact with in person. We're a social species, and we're a herd animal. So while we can't be in person together, it's really important to be part of those challenges, like the Team CP Bake Off, get involved in the community, check in with your friends, do Zwift rides, all of those things that technology affords us the privilege of doing. Just make the most of them while we can. And while this is the way things are, just look at everyone's baking online and think, wow, you just wait until lockdown finishes.
Yeah, probably fortunate that we can't taste test it for judging. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and also other thing, I went and got my first COVID jab today as well. So that was good. It's my first outing during any level 4 lockdown. Last time I didn't really get much beyond the end of the road. So that was pretty exciting, actually be able to drive the vehicle into town. So that's a good tick in the box and starting that process.
Nice.
Other stuff going on. We've had our annual spring brunch ride and run that we've run for the last 12 years or so. We've had to postpone that at the moment, and we'll just sort of suss out how things unfold, whether we're able to pick that up and run with that as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, look, fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, stay tuned to all the social channels. We'll be rip-roaring and ready to get everybody back on board as soon as the restrictions are lifted and we can get out riding your bike and connecting with people again, which leads us to our show tonight. A fantastic lineup as always, three of the best. And I think it's probably only fitting, Rich, that you talk us through what the show holds in store for us tonight.
Yeah, let's run you through that. So we're going to kick off with NZ mountain bike under-23 champion Cameron Jones, who this weekend is lining up for the under-23 world champs in Italy. So he's going to be beaming live. He's in the back end of the studio at the moment from Italy. So Cam's a fantastic athlete who, no matter how hard he's pushing, always seems to somehow have a smile on his face. He's won the 2-day coast to coast. He's won a number of mountain bike titles, and most notably the New Zealand and Oceania under-23 titles. So pretty keen to catch up with Cam about his development as an athlete, his preparation for the Worlds, and what his plan is for the future going forward. We're going to have a chat to CP athlete Craig Gordon. He's been flying the Team CP flag in mighty Balclutha for the last couple of years. We're going to catch up with him, learn a little bit more about his background, his training, and his goals for the year ahead as well. And we're going to wrap up the show with strong woman Kim Vargo. So Kim's our strength conditioning coach. She's going to have a bit of a chat to us about weight and how much we should be lifting, how many reps, and how often, etc. Just trying to bring that together. Should we be doing 5 repetitions? What about 20? What about 12? Sort of thing. What should we be shooting for? How much weight should we be lifting, depending on the time of the season? So we're going to open a can of worms with her and see if she can answer that.
A can of worms, good stuff. I like that turn of phrase. Well, should we kick into it? Let's get Cam all the way from Italy. So if Cameron's there, we'll bring Cam to the show, shall we?
Get into it, James. Well done.
Rightio, 3, 2, 1. Cam Jones, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Look at that for a backdrop.
Yeah, it's not too bad, eh? Yeah, thanks for having me.
How good. Of all the guests we've had, I have to say that that's the best backdrop. None of us sitting in sort of somewhere sort of on the end of a bed or anything like that. Can you describe that? Because a bunch of people will be listening to this. Can you describe where you are right now?
So I'm in Val di Sole, which I think is Valley of the Sun, and it's living up to its name at the moment, which is in the mountains of northern Italy. We're fairly close to the Swiss border, and yeah, it's the destination of the mountain bike world champs for 2021.
Awesome. And just what can you see around you? Tell me where you are right now.
I think we're up at about 800 meters above sea level, and yeah, you can see some peaks around that would be getting up to 3,000 meters. So there's some pretty serious mountains around. Yeah, it's just a big river running down the valley, and some very European style houses. I guess it's a ski resort kind of town. Imagine the whole thing will be covered in snow in the winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, very touristy, and yeah, I've just actually had to move about 100 meters to get out of a farmer's field I was standing in. Looked like they're about to come and sweep all the hay up. So yeah, this is the best internet and best kind of lighting and sound I could find. So yeah,
you've
but
done
not
very
bad
well.
at all.
I love your commitment, and I'm pleased you're not going to end up in a hay bale as well while you're concentrating on this. That's good, Cam.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, so Cam, just to kick off, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into mountain biking? Mountain biking sort of is like you've done a bunch of multi-sport and all that sort of stuff, but it's always come back to mountain biking for you, hasn't it? Tell us about the early years. How did you get into mountain biking, and who were maybe your key influences in the early years?
Yeah, so I guess coming from Nelson, had the location on my side. It's such an amazing spot for mountain biking, endless trails, and really the community was the biggest thing that got me into it. Yeah, as you said, I've done a bit of multi-sport, and our family was sort of friends in the multi-sport community, so there were always people to take me out riding, and yeah, so organise adventures to go on when we were kids. Started racing probably end of primary school, sort of year 7 and 8, when they had the mini mountain bike series in Nelson. The mini mountain bike series, and then sort of graduated to the cross country, local cross country series, and that's sort of what got me competitive, I guess. Always just rode for fun, and then yeah, I think the thing that's got me to where I am now is having so much racing to do. So back then you don't train, you just do as much racing as you can. There was the local mountain bike series, and you did all the club road racing. So yeah, when you're racing, so after school a few times a week on the weekends, yeah, that's sort of your training. Yeah, when I was sort of starting off, I guess a big influence of mine would have been Henry Jane and Tom Filmer, who are a couple of local guys that are a bit older than me, and they were super helpful, inviting me along on rides to just trying to keep up was a big training exercise. Yeah, just like seeing what they were doing, and trying to chase their times on Strava. I think Strava was also a big tool in sort of getting me to push. And yeah, then once started getting into the racing, eventually started getting into sort of more structured training, and it's a bit of a pathway with the national series, training for national champs and things. Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
So nice. Mountain biking.
Awesome. So with the New Zealand and Oceania titles to your name, can you tell us about a performance that you're most proud of and why?
Yeah, so I think until the start of this year, coast to coast was probably my proudest performance. That was not in the mountain biking world, but on the multisport. I think just at the start of this year, the national champs held in Christchurch, that would have surpassed the coast for my proudest performance. Not really sure why. Like, it's obviously in theory, it's a step below the Oceania title, but I think this last year was the first year that I've focused fully on mountain biking. Until now, I've been sort of mountain biking in the summer, and then there was always some multi-sport racing I do. Like a couple of years ago, I went off to China for one of the stage races. The year before that, the Red Bull Defiance also. So I never really committed a full year to mountain biking. And yeah, after a second place in 2020 in the Nationals, I really wanted to give it everything I had and try and get the national jersey to hopefully wear overseas. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get here back at the start of the year, but yeah, and it was really a year-long project. Always, like, every single training ride, the national champs would be sort of in the back of my mind, helping me get out the door for the session and push hard along the way. And so when I was pretty nervous for the whole summer leading into it, and when I finally got the result, it meant the most out of any performance, I think.
Yeah, good. As you've just really nailed all that training, it's all come together. So as doing a bunch of multisport and you're pretty talented in all of those disciplines as well, how have you found just sort of zeroing in on one? Because as a multisporter, often we've got a bit of an attention sort of doesn't hold particularly long in one discipline. How have you found just focusing on the mountain biking?
Yeah, certainly. Not quite as adventurous, I guess. Like, not the variation you get with multisport.
Yeah.
I think it has got a little bit tedious at times when you're doing sort of big miles on the road. So you got tractor coming past.
There he goes. No, he's not bailing yet. He's just raking this hay. Yep.
Yeah, I've really quite enjoyed it, because in the past, when you're doing some multisport, you're never quite at your potential in any of the disciplines.
Yeah.
And so just focusing on one sport, you can really see how good you can be, and at your max potential for the sport. And when you have the time to focus on riding one discipline, you can ride every day, and with the consistency, you definitely see some bigger gains just focusing on that, and doing it all year round. Yeah, is also probably lead to my best performances on the bike.
Yeah, because you're focusing on the cycling specifically, have you done any specific strength training at all? Has that been part of your build-up across the course of the year?
Yeah, for sure. This last year has probably been, or the last year or two, there's the University of Canterbury Sports Academy, and they've got an awesome gym set up, like 5 minutes ride from my flat in Christchurch.
Yeah.
So I've been going there pretty consistently, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. And it's really awesome to see the gains you can get when you just go consistently.
What's one or two sort of key movements that you try and do every time?
Every session there'd be a deadlift and a squat, deadlift or a squat, followed by some box jumps or something a bit more explosive. So superset them in, and then a bit of a push and a pull for the arms, and also like a single leg thing. So you do your squat or deadlift, then a single leg version of each maybe, and then push and a pull. And I think the biggest thing I found helps the riding is a bit of core at the end. Always try and work some core, and you always feel amazing after doing that. Just brings everything together on the bike.
Yeah, nice work. Tell us about, like, multisport's a lot about innovation, isn't it? And that's sort of probably from the Steve Gurney era. You really highlighted that in Karapoti earlier this year. I actually don't have a photo of it right sitting next to me, but can you just describe, or actually I'll describe it. So basically there's a photo of your bike seat at the end. There's no seat on your bike. There was a piece of wood that somehow you've managed to get your bike tube and lash that onto your top of your seat, so you actually had a bit of a platform to pedal against. How long did it take you to think about that? First of all, your bike seat breaking, that's not something that happens every day. But tell us around that process of actually getting that organised and getting back in the race. And I think you ended up finishing 10th or something ridiculous in the end. Yeah,
that's right. That was a very entertaining day. Sort of started off with the famous Karapoti river crossing. I think I got a bit too... I was thinking about my multisport background a bit too much, and took quite an ambitious line across the river. Ended up fully immersed under the water. There's a picture of just my helmet sticking out. So yeah, after that, it was pretty cold as well. Sort of got moving again, feeling pretty good. And I think I was in second place behind Kyle Ward, and feeling pretty good. And on the descent, I think I might have just seat bounce, come down a bit too heavy on my seat, and just snapped off, and sort of all the bolts and parts holding it in was somewhere back up the trail. Like there's no chance of finding them.
Yeah.
And so originally tried. I had a spare tube, as you definitely need to take in that race.
Yeah.
Tried to use the tube to sort of lash the seat back on top, but without all the rails and things, it wasn't really going to work. So like dropped the seat, put it all the way out of the way, got down the infamous rock garden on the Karapoti course, and then so the next climb was actually pretty hard to ride, so I was running most of it, not losing too much time. But after that, when I did have to pedal, I was like, I'm not going to get to the finish very quickly like this. Just standing up the highway was a bit too hard. You just need, you can stand up for maybe minute bursts, but then you just need to sit down to rest the quads a bit. I don't really know what the thought process was, but I thought I just need something to sort of rest my backside against. And there's a bit of a channel on the top of the seat. And I was, just started looking around the side of the trail for something to put on there. I knew I had the spare tube, the good sort of lashing, I guess, on the high school adventure race competitions, like the Get to Go and Hillary Challenge. We did quite a bit of work, like using tie tube lashing, so knew how to tie one well. Found a bit of a stick. I think it was probably a bit of gorse or something. Wasn't that great, but just lashed it onto the top of the seat post, and actually, like if you had your weight evenly on it, you could put a fair bit of pressure on it just to give you something to sort of push against in between sort of bursts out of the saddle. A few people had gone past me while I was rigging it up and got a few funny looks, but I actually managed to get past a few people not long after.
Yeah, good.
And I think having to be out of my saddle the whole way back, I got some of my fastest times on the last part of the course.
Yeah,
there's no option but to go.
No point hanging around. We might as well get this done in a hurry, eh? Let's give it heaps.
Yeah. But no, that was a very good story, made for a memorable race.
And have you gone back to the sort of traditional seat for this weekend, or how? Or have you?
Yeah, I have done actually.
Yeah.
So I got the Shimano Pro Stealth saddle on.
Yep.
So
Got
a sort of a short nose. I'm quite like being out of the saddle, and when I'm not, I'm sort of on the front of the seat. So I like to be forward on the bike. So allows for that.
Yeah, good stuff. That's so taking the learnings from that is just send it and give it heaps and see what happens. Is that sort of the plan for this weekend?
Yeah, it's always the plan. It's certainly going to be a tough race. We just got on the course for the first time yesterday, so I got to put in some practice laps, and it's a track that's well worthy of the world champs. Most of it's been built for this weekend, so no one had ridden much of it before.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. Everyone's out on the track looking at lines. A lot of the trackers have sort of taped off and moved a few rocks in a wooded section.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really any track. It's kind of pretty natural, and it'll change a lot over the course of the week, I imagine. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite precise on line choice. There's lots of lines to choose from, and if you don't hit the right one, then it's pretty easy to come off the track and come unclipped and lose a lot of time. So it's going to require a lot of concentration to ride this track fast.
Yeah, good. Are you so you're going this afternoon? You're going to go and recce, or this later on this morning your time? You're going to go and recce the course. Do you do that with a few others? Do you go around it together and look at lines with others, or do you just go around it yourself?
Yeah, there's a few of us New Zealand cross country riders, Ben Oliver and Ethan Rose, all staying together. And a couple of Australians too. So we'll probably try and meet up and ride around together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Yesterday, like everyone standing on the side of the track looking. I was standing with all the Swiss guys like Nino and Lars and all the pros. Sort of felt quite cool to be there, like checking out the same lines and trying things out.
Work it. That's awesome.
But yeah,
yesterday, do you do it?
So
do you do a selfie with?
Yeah, I got a picture with them. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying yesterday I sort of stopped and looked at the lines quite a lot, but I think today I'll try and just ride the lap and do a bit more practice of them instead of just looking. I think I know the lines I'm going to take, so it's now a matter of consolidating them and making sure I'm comfortable.
Yeah, good stuff. So, sort of like how long you been away for? How's the trip gone so far for you?
Oh, it's been amazing, eh? It was sort of tossing up at the start of the year if it was worth coming. There was a few sort of politics and getting race entries and things, and in the end made it work. And I sort of managed to confirm a full race calendar to make it worth the trip over. So I've been here 8 weeks, I think. It's gone by so quick. And yeah, I think 6 weeks to go. So got my quarantine spot booked for 7th of October.
Okay, yeah.
So I came over, had a World Cup was my first race, then a French Cup, race in Austria, and then a Swiss Cup last weekend. So I guess 4 races so far, and 4 or 5 to go, I think.
Yeah, nice. Best performance?
Best performance would have been, last 2 races have been pretty similar. I was about 25th overall and top 8th and then 10th in the under 23 standings. So over here, except for championship races like the World Champs and the World Cups, under 23 and elite race together. So you can, it's a combined podium. But yeah, you can still see how you would have gone against your age group.
Yeah. So you're racing just in the under 23 age group this weekend, though, aren't you?
Yes. Yep. So yeah, all the best under 23 riders around the world will be here.
Yeah. Good.
It's kind of hard to know how you're going to end up in the results before coming over here, but top 10 and under 23 was sort of what I'd hoped for.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really happy with the result so far. And
what's the goal for this weekend? How are you shaping up? Like, what are you like? Is that the plan? Under top 10 this weekend, or?
Oh, that would be the dream. I think.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely harder to get a result like that this weekend.
Yeah.
But top 20, even top 30, I think would be a very credible result here. I'm not sure how many on the start list, but there'll be over 100 starting, I imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, a top 30 out of them would be a dream.
Yeah, and a bit of luck, especially on the first lap, getting some lines choices right, like staying clipped in, etc., etc. There's a lot that can go wrong, which is, I guess, part of the fun of racing and lining up for an event like this. How do you manage that? How do you because there's a lot of what ifs. How do you manage the stress and the pressure and that naturally comes by a race like this weekend? Your whole year, your last few years have been sort of building towards this weekend. How do you manage that for yourself?
Yeah, I guess it has been. This is like the biggest race I've ever done as an under 23. So in my first 2 years, I didn't come to Europe, and that was all sort of building up for this trip. In terms of nerves, I guess when you've been doing it for 8 years or so, it is the biggest race in my career. It's just another race, really. The more start lines you get on, the nerves sort of do come down a bit. And especially when it's kind of the race in the middle of my trip, there's still more races to come. It's not like I've come over here just for this one and there's heaps of pressure on it. While it is good to have pressure to get the nerves, it's good to have some nerves, but it's also good to just keep it real and have some perspective. Like we're pretty lucky to be doing what we're doing. It's nothing worth stressing about too much. And I think being pretty chilled about it does help on the start line.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
There's an awesome photo that we put up as part of our lead sort of photo to this podcast, and it's you on the front of basically the whole race, and you've got a great big smile on your face right at the start, just sending it off the start line. I think it must have been like, is that awesome. The plan? Like, do you like go like, I want to smile because that means that I'm going to be performing well, or were you just sort of pinching yourself to say, look at me sending it, or was it one of that like, I'm going to get to this first corner in the front, and then I don't really care about whatever's happening after that?
Yeah, all those points are pretty correct. I was pinching myself being there. I was like, I've got no right to be here. Like, I'm not gonna finish here. But
yeah,
I think the start's definitely one of my strengths. I've got some pretty good high end power out of the blocks.
Yeah.
So, and that race it started on a horse track, so it was like a sort of a gravel velodrome, I guess, so plenty of room to pass.
Yep.
And I had a pretty good starting position. Sort of, I think there's a video that I'll post soon, put it on my story or something. And there's a space opened up, and I think the night before my post, I said my only goal was to get to the front at some point, like I did 3 years ago in that same race. And I was like, oh yeah, this is an opportunity. Yeah, just went to the front and just hoping that someone got it on camera, which they did. And I was just like smiling because I had no right to be there, but just cool to be in front of. I think I had world champion Jordan Sarua on my wheel, and then the whole of the Scott SRAM mountain bike team on his, and the other 70 in the race, all tagging along. It lasted probably 30 seconds, and then I kind of dropped back a bit, and then got pretty swamped by the whole field as everyone sprinted to the single track.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, obviously you're going to go and have a crack, aren't you? You're not going to just sort of die wondering, thinking, I'll just sort of do my own little thing here. I'm actually going to go and take it to the rest of the field and go and give it a good nudge. Would that be fair?
Yeah, and sort of phenomenon with like big mass starts when you've got a mass like 100 people all going for a single track. Even if you're putting in the same energy as someone at the front, if you're at the back, you're going to lose minutes on the first lap. So it's really important at the start to make as many positions forward as you can, and you just automatically gain time. I think the first lap's always my favourite part because, I mean, you're going absolutely all out and there's lots of elbows being thrown around everywhere, but when you're not in the front 10, you tend to end up off the bike at some point and bottlenecks. Yeah. And again, the multisport background probably helps a bit with that. I've probably made the most places up on foot than I have on bikes in these world champ races. If you can just know how to dismount and know what your lines are going to be off the bike as well as on the bike.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just gotta keep your elbows out.
I do feel like you're the sort of guy that would just smile and revel in that, to say, let's race close, let's give it heaps here, lads, rather than getting upset or cross about that style of racing early on in the event. Yeah,
there's certainly some tensions around in that like first lap, but I think that's quite enjoy it. So keep smiling and enjoy the chaos.
Good job, Cam. That's so good. So you've got a plan for the rest of this year. Do you have any ideas beyond that? Have you got future goals? What are your ideas going forward beyond this? Yeah, so a few more races left in this trip. Come home, do my 2 weeks quarantine. Looking at trying to get a spot in Tour of Southland. That might be cool. Might be something sort of a way to finish off the season, because it would have been a long one, and after that might have a couple of weeks off, and the New Zealand season comes around pretty quickly. Yeah. Once summer starts back in New Zealand. Or also potentially looking at Waka 100. I think I may get out of quarantine the day before. Right, there we go. So I have to ask nicely for an entry and see if the travel will work there. But cool. Yeah, so it might be a little bit of training. Yeah, that's right. We'll definitely see you there if we can. Might be a little bit of work to do in quarantine then, or just turn up super fresh. Yeah, I guess so. I'll be fresh no matter what. Try and get hold of wind trainer depending on where I am.
Yeah, it'd be a good training camp. But yeah, after that, I guess back into the New Zealand summer, working towards the New Zealand and Oceania championships towards the end, February, March, I think they are. And then, yeah, next year will be my last year under 23. So in theory, that's your best chance to get a result before heading into the elite ranks, where it becomes a bit more difficult. So yeah, still deciding if I do half a year of uni before coming over like I did this year, or take the whole year off and come straight to Europe and do a full season here. But yeah, it'd be good to get another big block of racing in over here and see what I can achieve.
And a pro deal, is that sort of the end goal?
Yeah, that's the dream, eh? It's pretty hard, especially being from New Zealand.
Yeah.
With languages for one, and yeah, a lot of the pro teams are sponsored by European brands, so it's a bit difficult to justify signing a international ride unless you're really good. But being really good is what we're here to try and be. So we've been lucky to be helped out by a Swiss team over here this trip, just to get me the race entries for World Cups. I had to be part of a UCI team, and they were kind enough to sign me up, and they've given me a lot of help here at the races. But also, you don't really have to be in a team to make it work. I think Kiwis are really good at that. Been traveling with various combinations of Kiwis and Aussies over here, and it's just really good traveling together. It's basically like being in a team. Got to fund a bit more, but you've got a lot of flexibility. Yeah,
Cam,
it works out. It makes it an adventure.
Seeing as you're there and about to go and do a course recce shortly, the $1 million question is the bike that you have with you the bike that you will race?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we can see it. Can you give us a little show whilst also multitasking for those that are listening, and tell us what we're looking at? What do we got? Everyone wants to see the gear.
This is my, here we go.
Yep, nice.
Got my Scott Spark race bike. So this is the only bike I've got over here. One set of wheels, one set of everything really. I've been lucky enough to be hooked up by My Ride Richmond up in Nelson and Scott New Zealand to get me on this weapon. So yeah, it's full suspension, 110 mils travel on the front, 100 on the back, running some nice big wide wheels and 2.4 inch wide tires, which is about as wide as you get for cross country, but I really find it gives a lot of grip. Definitely saved me in a few situations where I might have slidden out otherwise.
Nice.
There's so many of these bikes on the course that I reckon probably the most popular bike on track. See a lot of them around, stand out the bright yellow. Got a 36 tooth chainring on. And
there we go.
1142 tooth, 1145, I think, cassette on the back from Shimano. So I put the XTR cassette chain on for this weekend. I've been running the XT stuff during training. Just wears out just to keep the race stuff fresh. And while this course does have some pretty steep climbs on it, I think the 3645 was going to be enough to get me up there. And I mean, even if I would like a bit of a lower gear, I think not having the low gears is sometimes good because you got no option but to go max effort.
Full gas.
Yeah, it forces you to go 100% just to work the gear.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Nice.
Do you have any other tires with you, just for different courses and things? Do you have a bunch of those?
So I've got the Aspens on at the moment. I've had a think I've got an Icon and a Recon race, which I've been training on, just a bit better wearing, a bit more tread on them. And also picked up a sort of a more wet weather tyre set while I've been over here.
Yeah.
Seems that every single race this year has rained the night before. So, yeah, that's been a bit of a theme of Europe this year. So they have had a bit of use, the old mud tyres.
Yeah, nice work, Cam. Hey,
yeah.
Just to wrap up, we've got 5 quick questions we're going to throw at you, and not too much thinking. Just answer those. James, you want to lead off?
Rightio, here you go, mate. Cam, first question for you. Your favourite Olympic sport to watch?
Oh, Olympic sport. Oh, I'd have to say the mountain biking, really, especially this year with that course. It was such a spectacular track, and
yeah, totally.
Yeah, knowing all the riders, you kind of, and yeah, having like follow them on social media and stuff, you kind of know the whole stories and be a bit more of a fan than with other sports.
Yeah, nice work.
Right,
favorite ice cream flavor, Cam?
Oh yeah, there's been quite a bit of ice cream sampling over here. Being in Italy, it's rude not to. I'd have to go for the sort of the hazelnut chocolatey flavors, basically Nutella on a cone.
Yeah, good
job.
Yeah, the old flavor.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you get back, is it going to be a fancy meal out or a home cooked meal?
Oh, I think it'd be rude not to say that a home meal isn't a fancy meal. If you're listening, Mum.
Good question. Yeah, good answer.
Yeah, well answered. That's the story. What's your favourite snack to eat while you're out on an adventure? I know you've had a bunch of adventures amongst your racing as well. What's your favourite go-to snack that you would have at the top of a hill?
Go-to snack? Yeah, I have to say the Muesli bars over here have been pretty sort of poor. There's not much to them. I think New Zealand does them a lot better. I've actually been going for just a bag of salted peanuts and dates, just a bit of scroggin. Nice and cheap, and yeah, got everything you need. So that's what I've been carrying around most rides. On the longer rides, if you've got some harder efforts to do, I'd have maybe some more sugary Muesli bars or some gels, sports drink. Yeah, up in the mountains. Yeah, just some nuts and raisins.
Final question for you. When you get home or anywhere in the world, where's your favourite place to train?
Oh, favourite place to train? Anywhere in the world. Oh, anywhere in the world. I think there's been some awesome places to train here. Everywhere has been great. I think travelling around and training in different places and riding different trails every day has been the best part about it. But I think being home in Nelson, you can't beat that. There's so many different places to ride. There's like 7 different little mountain bike parks around the place and quiet roads, plenty of hills. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to Nelson.
Nice.
Perfect.
Well done.
Hey, thanks for your energy and your enthusiasm. Hopefully you've still got some left for the later on this morning to ride this course. This morning, but hey, we're all going to be watching you. We're going to be cheering you on. Absolutely fizzing about your energy and enthusiasm, and go well this weekend.
Thank you very much, Richard and James.
Good on you, Cam. Nice to chat with you. Thanks so much for your energy. It's been awesome to hear your story, and well done on the Karapoti. I love that yarn. It's awesome. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Good luck. Good luck for the rest of the season as well. Go well, and we'll look forward to following with that, and we might see you in Rotorua in October.
Yeah, hopefully. Yep. Look forward to getting back to New Zealand.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
All the best. Talk to you soon. Cheers, Cam.
Thank you.
Bye, mate. Bye now. Oh, how good. What a high energy guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
And our best ever on location report as well, I have to say. He's done very well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and what you didn't see or hear prior to the start of this was internet was very hard to come by, but Cam's put in a last-minute sprint towards the line, and he's come up with the goods when it mattered. Great internet connection from him. But, yeah, fantastic. What a good young... So if there's any pro teams out there with, of course, Team CPP's massive listening base, get in touch. The reach. We do need to get Cam a pro team. So just drop us a DM later, and we'll link you guys up. So all the best. How good though. That was awesome. What a great interview.
Yeah,
good
right.
stuff.
Absolutely. He was down by the river, dashed up towards the hay paddock. He just about got run over by the tractor. It's going to be really interesting. Great to have him racing this weekend, and then we'll sort of we will, and our community will watch him and check on his progress. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Onwards with the show, Rich. Talk us through the next segment.
Yeah, so Craig Gordon, we've been working with him for the last couple of years. He did the Coast to Coast 2-day earlier this year, and potentially lining up again this next year as well. He's a keen Zwifter as well. He's always keeping me honest, and he had a fancy pink kit on tonight that he was all of a sudden dashing past. Like, oh my gosh, what's he up to here? So, Craig, are you in the background there?
Rightio, Craig. Let's welcome Craig to the show. Here we are, Craig. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I don't quite have the background, but it's dark here.
You would, though, in Balclutha, I'm sure, though, Craig.
Absolutely, South Otago. You just have to open these curtains in the morning and you'd see, but sorry about that.
Yeah, I might have to cross live tomorrow morning again to really get the full effect, won't we? How are you getting on at the moment, Craig? How's everything going? How's lockdown, and how's the body? How's training going for you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. My boss watches this. So I've been doing 12, 16-hour days. So, working really hard. But as everyone knows, realistically, it's hard to get the work done, getting bits and pieces of work done during the day and fitting in the training, which is good, and looking after the kids and getting them to do their work. So I'm just finding it. I think last lockdown I had a wee virus that I picked up that caused a bit of swelling around the heart, so I couldn't do any training at all.
Yeah.
So it's just been great to be able to get some training in this lockdown, and to be honest, and it sounds a bit selfish, but I've just sort of been enjoying it. Good weather, and just a week to relax, hopefully, and hopefully we'll get back into normal next week. Nice.
Well, it's always good weather in South Otago, so I sort of assume that anyway. So what do you do for work, and you work for Sport Otago, I think, and tell us about your journey to sort of what you've done beforehand.
Yeah, so I guess in the 2000s I was in Canterbury dairy farming, and that's when I got into Coast to Coast at about 2002 and got quite heavily involved. And then I joined the police sort of, I guess, in the 2010s, and thought that I would be able to do a lot more training and get more heavily involved in the coast, but just with shift work and that, it just didn't work out that way. And I left the police about 3 years ago and joined Sport Otago. So I work for Balclutha, and basically just look after the Balclutha district, anything sporting related. So, looking after sports clubs, funding, and then the cool thing about it is we run a lot of school tournaments here, athletics, cross countries, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of delivery, which is awesome.
Cool. So quite a varied background in terms of the jobs you've done over the last sort of 20 years or so. That's quite impressive, and cool to be able to be making a real difference to young people's lives as well. That must be pretty rewarding.
Yeah, it's great. And the thing I like about the tournaments is, or like that part of it is schools will send their whole school. So we might get little Johnny who's never played netball or rugby or anything like that, and they'll pick it up and they'll have a go, and and then they might carry on, or it just gets them active. So that's great. Really good.
Yeah, no, so good. Coast to Coast, you've done a few of them. How many have you done?
7, I think. Yeah, 5. Yeah. Might be 8 now. 5, 6 individuals and a couple in teams. When I was in the police, I got in trouble. Well, got told off when I was in the police for I didn't used to chase after people fast enough. Apparently, I used to let them go and then sort of just pace myself behind them until they got tired. Sergeant eventually told me, he gave me a clip over there and said, "Mate, you need to sprint. You can't just expect these guys. We might get one day that doesn't get tired, but luckily they were always pretty unfit."
That's an awesome story.
Sort of the back end of the police, I did it in a tandem team, I think, and then with my brother, he did the run and I did the kayak, then back into it again this year, which was nice. It's been a few years, so
yeah, fantastic. No, that's great. And a highlight of over those coast to coast. What sort of one key highlight? Is there anything that stands out?
There's one that definitely doesn't stand out, but it was probably I think it might have been 2005 or back. I don't know where you got, but you sort of top 10 in the 2-day, and there was quite a high caliber of athletes. There was like Luke Vaughan and McKinstry and yourself, and so yeah, it was that was a highlight. But I just enjoy the event for the people. Really, they make it what it is, and that's why I like to keep going back.
Nice. My next question was an epic training or racing fail. Was that what you were going to describe to us about one that didn't stand out?
Yeah, well, it was it was a year after that. It was 2006, and I was doing the 1 day and probably had a couple of months off work to train, and was, I thought, in the form of my life. Ran off the beach and couldn't find my bike. And that was when we had the bikes lined up on the road.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was awful. I couldn't find it, and everyone had left by that stage. And then someone came back yelling. It's like, oh, this isn't my bike. So someone had taken my bike and gone up the road and then come back. So we worked together for a while and tried to catch up to a few bunches. But I sort of threw my toys out the cot and didn't have a great day. And it was actually caught up with him after the race. It was actually Alistair Corey Wright, who's you probably know him. He's a good bugger.
Yes.
We used to race against each other a lot. So it was just one of those things. He grabbed the bike, had the foot plates on it, about the same until he got up the road a bit, and full credit to him, he brought it back. That was a bit of a bugger, but it was a good learning experience as well. I think to think about it mentally as well, that I didn't cope very well with it. So it was a good lesson that way.
Yeah, well, he was a good athlete as well. Maybe the drink didn't taste right because it wasn't what he prepared earlier. Gosh, but you managed to finish.
Yeah, no, I got through. I got through quite happily. I think I spent the rest of the day thinking about that moment where I probably should have just moved on. But that's young and that's
right. That's part of learning, isn't it? And we've worked together for the past year or so. What's one or two key learnings that you've had over that time?
Probably just making sure, just quality and balance. I think making sure the sessions that I'm doing are, they are quality and I'm doing them properly, and I am recovering and stretching and doing all that sort of thing. In the past, if you're doing it yourself, you probably do too much for a start, and then making sure I've got the balance right with work and training and family. So that's definitely the key.
Nice one.
I think the check-ins with you every fortnight are good for me as well, because you can get a bit get tied up, and I'm a bit of a workaholic. So I'll put training off and do some work, but it's like I'm going to catch up with Richard next week, and he's going to ask why I didn't do this, or So it's there's that flexibility to change things around, but also it keeps you honest and keeps you
good. So, in those middle weeks that you might not kind of do as much, as actually just keep that consistency up a wee bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's been great. I think we got together last August, didn't we? And this is the first winter that we've done, and it's been amazing to keep it going through the winter, especially down here. And it's a bit like that in Canterbury, but it's pretty dingy training in the winter. And even just doing a couple of different things. Had a few games of basketball recently, and just like crikey, I feel like really fit, and I haven't had that for a few years. So that's
that's awesome, isn't it? Yeah, so good. And just recently, you found the Strava segments. You hadn't known about those until recently. So all of a sudden, there's a new world that's opened up to you. That's a dangerous world too.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just, you see your segments pop up, and I had no idea. Didn't take much notice, and then you obviously explained it to me the other week, and it has opened up a whole new world. So, old mate Mark Watt, he's an Ironman who's doing peak to peak with me in a few weeks. I knocked off one of his segments the other day, so he is he's pretty dark about that, but it's great. It's I think I spent a Saturday afternoon just plotting little Strava segments around South Otago and finding other ones, so it's been great.
Yeah, fantastic. What's the goals for 2022 and the season summer ahead?
Yeah, well, it'll be good to get Mark in a boat and hopefully do peak to peak. There's been a few events that have gone by the wayside that weekend. We've lost the Dunedin Marathon. It's been postponed, and obviously Tekapo. Yeah. So that's the plan, and then we'll crack on to probably the Tyree multi-sport race, and then into the cricket season. Coast to coast, 190th on the list at the moment. So I'm confident that I'll be there, but I don't know why. But at the end of the day, I'm not too worried. We'll just do it the next year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
And being lockdown and everything that goes along with that, have you entered the Team CP Bake Off? Have you and the family got involved in that?
No, we haven't actually. I've seen it, and some of those cakes and stuff are, honestly, they're just amazing. No, I haven't done that yet. When does it finish? I should get onto that.
Well,
it's still plenty of time to train, isn't there? What do you think, Richard?
Yeah. During level 4, really. So definitely still going till Friday, and we'll have to sort of decide what happens after that. So don't be intimidated by those cakes and pastries and all that fantastic baking. Just go and throw it out there. You might win a highly commended or you tried hard sort of award potentially if it doesn't go to plan. And hey, at the end of the day, as long as it looks good, it doesn't actually need to taste that flash, does it? Because no one's actually going to need to know.
No, I might be able to find a photo off Women's Weekly or something and put that up.
Yeah, good stuff. I essentially live in a caravan in Waihola, so not far from Balclutha, many years ago, and I was very much discouraged from going anywhere near the lake. Well, certainly swimming in it. Can you kayak in that lake?
Yeah, it's one of my little training spots. We're moving to Waihola next year to live permanently, so it's a great spot. You can actually swim in the lake until it gets a bit hot, and then they get I can't remember, some sort of algae that comes up. You don't want to be drinking the water, but it's a great spot for a paddle, and we get a few people out there. So great spot, Waihola. Nice,
good stuff. Well, that might explain a little bit of my oddness because I did actually go swimming in the middle of summer in there, and it probably says a lot about me. Good stuff. Oh, good work. Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much. What do you reckon, Rich? Where are we at?
Fantastic, Craig. Thanks for joining us. So good, and I look forward to seeing what baking you come up over in the next couple of days.
Thanks, Dan. I'll see what I can find, if you know what I mean.
Well, like I've delegated that baking roll off, and I'm claiming the baking, but I really can't claim it as such. It's probably going to taste better if it's delegated out. So, do what you need to do.
I might have to do that too.
Yeah. Jolly good. Hey, thanks for joining us, Craig. It's been fantastic to hear about what you're up to, and we look forward to checking in with you again another time.
No worries. Thanks, team. Take it easy.
All good. Thanks, Craig. Good job, Craig. Bye now. Cheers. Oh, it makes me think, actually, spoken like a true endurance athlete. Let the criminals run away and then just gradually chase them down. It's all about sustained effort over a long period. It's not about sprinting.
That's right. It does remind me of that theory around sort of hunting in Africa many years ago, or maybe it's still done. Is that I'm just going to hunt that antelope down and keep running until it collapses and falls over the next 20 k's. Doesn't it? It's the same sort of scenario.
That's so primal. Yeah, Craig's learned from well-established traditions in Africa. Well done, Craig. Good work.
With his loincloth and his sandals on, so good.
Awesome. Around Balclutha and Waihola, probably fits right in.
Well, that was Christchurch at the time, wasn't it? When he was
of course.
Best we move on, James. Best we move on.
Yes. Thanks very much, Craig. It was awesome. Good work. Tell me what's happening for the final part of the show, Rich. Where are we off to?
So Kim Vargo, she's been throwing tin around. She's been getting massive and strong, all those good things. A good CrossFit advocate. And you were a wee bit nervous just talking with Kim earlier, I think, because you maybe not done as many kipping pull-ups as you should have done, James. Is that fair?
No, that's a voice that I know, I love, but I also have learned to dread it because Kim's coached me through a number of CrossFit workouts throughout the last couple of years. But let's bring her into the show. And we'll have a bit of a talk to round out what's been a good Wednesday night live, eh? Let's do that.
Good job.
1, 2, 3.
Hi.
How you doing, Kim?
I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. How's lockdown treating you?
deliciously flip all that bacon. Whew, so good. So good.
You've done
Yeah,
very
no,
well. I saw some very impressive Chelsea buns that I could almost smell. They're just around the corner, but couldn't get to them.
I know. We should have done a contactless click and collect. I actually probably would have dropped some out there for you to pick up. They were flipping delicious, if I say so myself. Whew. But
I'd
gotta do a
imagine
little
there's probably none
exercise
left.
for that. Sorry?
I'd imagine there's probably none left.
No.
Yeah.
So in terms of like we are locked down, but the beauty of how you've been working recently is you've been able to catch athletes via Zoom and things, and you do a Zoom consult with people to actually watch how they move, what they're doing, and can and it doesn't need to be face to face in terms of strength programming and things.
Yeah, totally. It's actually been quite fun just meeting people from all over New Zealand and just really just helping them set a plan that's going to work for them wherever they are in their season, and just tweaking some moves for them, even some of the smallest things in their kind of setup for a good squat. It's been a bit of a game changer for some people, and it doesn't have to be face to face to get a good little session in. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, and great to be able to have you as a resource there to be able to help give some feedback, because often we don't really know what we look like. We think we know, we think we're doing well, don't we? But actually, am I going low enough? What little tweak around driving your heels into the ground or knees out, etc., to help, and some of those little cues can make a big difference.
100%. And probably one of the biggest changes for a lot of people is just getting that depth in a good squat. Is just they've kind of found some muscles they didn't know existed. But
and you do love a good squat, don't you, Kim?
I do love a good squat. Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. As an endurance athlete, we in any training session, we're doing thousands of reps, be it cycling, running, swimming, kayaking, etc. And that can be sometimes with a strength focus that we try and climb a hill in a hard gear, etc. On the bike. So how many reps is optimal? When are we thinking about strength training? We think about, okay, I'm going to do 20 reps. That's muscular endurance, but that doesn't even come close to that sort of training session we're just doing. So what should we be thinking about when we're heading to the gym? Is there much difference between lifting a weight 5 times versus 20?
Yep. Yeah, that's it. What did you say earlier? You're going to open a can of worms or see what you're going to do there. Generally, there's a lot of different rep schemes that are out there. And it's not that some are better than others. It's really dependent upon the athlete and the individual, where they're at specifically in their season. If someone was in an off season, I would look at going a little bit heavier, something within the 5 rep range, 1 to 5 reps. If someone was getting closer and closer to the event, I would increase the rep range probably to the 8 to 10. But if you get kind of higher than that, then you're totally getting into that endurance, which you're already doing a lot of that in your actual event. And in your training sessions. And so if you're thinking of a strict strength, generally a 5-set, 5 rep up to about 25 reps a session is a good solid strength base.
Yeah. So, I mean, you say 5 reps and a set, 5 reps and then 5 sets of those 5 reps.
Yep.
So and the reason why you're doing that is because building technique and building the weight up across those 5 reps. Is that the reason for that?
Yeah. So it allows you can do something called a cross. So you would lift the same weight 5 times each time. So say it was like 50 kilos, you'd lift 50 kilos, literally 5 sets of 5. So that'd be 25, or you can do it building. So you're increasing your weight every single time. And as you get to your higher rep ranges with the weight, you actually kind of set yourself up for some potential injury, because you can start lacking form and your muscles get tired and you just can't always sustain that. So if you keep it to a shorter rep range, something around the 5 category, that's great. If you're going 1 to 3, that's pretty intense. That's a neuromuscular fry out. Really, like your brain is just tired, your body's tired, and you're not kind of getting the full recruitment after a specific amount of time. So if you get into that 3 to 5, mostly 5 rep range, you're getting good muscle fiber recruitment, you're keeping your injury risk pretty low, and you're getting some solid strength gains.
Good. If we're short of time, would you say that we should just do one set of each exercise to actually make sure we do something? Like, obviously we're about optimizing things, aren't we? And it's about time under tension and challenging our body, both our muscle fibers and our neuromuscular system. But from a bunch of people that we work with, it's actually, let's just make sure you do something. What are your sort of guidelines around making sure that it actually happens?
Yeah, I think people are time precious, and I think you need to create something. And so probably one of the things I do as a coach is I try to create something that's going to be achievable for a short amount of time, nothing more than 35, 40 minutes in the gym. But if someone is super short on time, 100% moving and getting a couple of different movements in is better than nothing. All the time, something's better than nothing. But I think if you want to think about the best use of your time, then let your coach know that, hey, look, I've got a short amount of time and this is what I'm doing. So try to mix it up if you can. But if not, get something done, get some weights lifted, put yourself, like you said, under that time, under tension, and in that situation, put yourself under some intensity. Like, you don't have a lot of time, you can do something for 10 minutes and that's going to be better than nothing.
And is circuit training a way to manage that as well? Because I don't need to have the rest period, so I can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Oh, 100%. I love circuit training as far as you can get a lot of different movements done in 10, 12 minutes. And you're covering a lot of different body areas, like Cam was saying earlier, he does a lot of push, he does a pull, he does a squat, he does a deadlift, he does a press. Think about doing something for your grip strength, some carries. There's lots of things that you can do in 10 to 12 minutes in a good circuit, as long as you know how to do the moves properly is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's right. And making sure you do continue to do them properly rather than just going badly because I haven't had enough recovery. That's the other side of it. But the other thing Cam said was about he did some power stuff as well. Like, I think he mentioned some box jumps is what he was doing. Like that, we would just say that would come into sort of what you were talking about.
Oh, for sure. Like, I love to program some power movements like box jumps, kettlebell swings, things that are kind of just going to make you more powerful over time, but with some speed. Like strength and power is two different kind of ideas. Strength is your ability to overcome a force, and then power is your ability to do that, but with speed. So if you can do something faster, you're going to be a more powerful athlete. And so you want to be doing that. You want to be incorporating power moves into your workout to make you a more well-rounded individual.
Brilliant, Kim. You've got a background of like when you were in the States, like that physiotherapy type background as well, haven't you? And you've owned a couple of gyms, you've done all sorts of things. So you've been around a while. So therefore, like, I think that's a key thing that we love about you. You've got that eye for movement and you love a good squat. So by coming to have a little bit of time with you to get some feedback about those movements and what you should be doing. And then also, the other great thing is that you're involved in some endurance sport as well and getting back into that, which you were pre-kids and sort of starting to get on your bike as well.
Yeah, I am. And you know what? It's hard. And getting back into the endurance side of things, like, give me a heavy barbell any day, then make me try to sustain cadence for a long time. Whew. But I won't get better if I don't try. So I think that's the biggest thing is learn the good technique, whether it's cycling, whether it's lifting, whatever you need to make sure you're doing. That's what I've learned as well with endurance is I've got a strength background. I need to train and I need to recover. And it's the same thing as an endurance athlete. You got to train, you got to recover. And there's a whole bunch that comes together to make a successful session. So, yeah.
Good job.
And there's a really nice play between the two, isn't there? That's what I found doing strength with you, Kim, was that what I thought were two very separate disciplines actually complement each other really, really well. And I remember feeling I remember feeling over the course of sort of having trained for a little bit, it translated so well through endurance, and I was just that much more robust. And keeping injury away is such a big part of it, isn't it?
Oh, it's a massive part. And that's probably the biggest thing that I want people to understand is, and I say as well, training for life, but it's training to keep yourself mobile as you get older so that you can continue doing these sports that you love doing. And just being able, bend over, tie your shoes, pick something up off the ground. You may not always cycle or you may not always do your multi-sport event, but you always have to be strong to continue on with life.
Oh, that's good. That's,
yeah.
That's good. Got that feeling in the stomach, like, whoa. Awesome.
Yeah, good job, Kim. Excellent. Hey, thanks for your time tonight. So good to have you share, and we'll definitely have you on again. And keep up the fantastic work, helping to keep our team in one piece and performing to their best.
Thanks, guys. Looks good. Keep doing some of those workouts I posted for you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And and so we can put people in touch with you by getting talking to your coach, and we'll connect the dots and get you guys all linked up for some strength work.
100%. Look forward to it.
And,
nice one.
And as part of that as well, you don't need to be part of Team CP to come and catch up with Kim. If you just want to catch up with her, so go through our website, throw an inquiry down, and we'll get Kim in touch with you to do those sessions. So, get amongst it.
Cool. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Well done. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Bye
now.
Forgot to ask Kim what she was baking next. That was disappointing, wasn't
it? Yeah, look, we'll head over to the Team CP Facebook page, and Kim's been prolific through this lockdown, hasn't she? She's really put out some good stuff. So yeah, get over to the Team CP Facebook and Instagram page. There's some rippers out there. So we'll be looking closely to see what comes out of Vargo's kitchen very soon.
Yeah, so that's the Team CP community page. So sort of where you can throw your posts up and just get an eye on what others are doing. And as we've talked about at the top of the show, a good place to have a bit of support and banter and help each other out as well. Yeah,
absolutely. 3 has been a charm. Here we are at the back end of the show on a Wednesday night in lockdown 2.0. It's been a real treat. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been really great tonight, hasn't it?
Good. What's your one highlight of the show, James?
Well, I love two of them. One, I love hearing the Karapoti story of Cam's with the seat. I think that's a great yarn, very MacGyver-esque. And second, also hearing Craig's about just chasing people down slowly but steadily. You criminal, I'll get you. You keep going. I will get you eventually. That's awesome. Yeah. Like a true endurance athlete.
That's right. And I just love Cam's attitude to racing as well. It says, I'm on the front, I'm mixing it up, I'm enjoying being here, I'm loving life. Let's just go and give it heaps and see what happens.
Yeah, and like you said at the beginning of the show, and I think that's something really to keep in the front of mind. Sport and all of the stuff that we do it because we enjoy it, and it should complement our lifestyle. And if you haven't got your health, whether that be physical or mental or all of that, what have you got? So just staying positive and staying connected, particularly through this kind of strange and unprecedented times where things are up and down and races are uncertain and life and training and everything else is a little bit on the uncertain side. Just staying connected and remaining positive with the community that you have is so important, right?
Yeah, totally. Well said, James. That's awesome. So you look after yourself in your hopefully there's some baking coming out in the single man's quarters tomorrow, maybe, or the next day. Look forward to that, and you'll be able to eat it all. How good is that? It won't be stolen by anyone else.
Yeah, look, I mean, there has been some recipes thrown around between my teammate and I, but she'll be very upset if I make some of the things that we usually make and I eat it myself. She'll just want to be here. So I feel a little bit guilty if I do that, but maybe I'll send her one and I'll share it virtually. We'll have a Zoom and we'll share something virtually. Or it'll be even better when she does finally get back.
That's right. Well, you need to practice, don't you? Practice makes perfect. Have a crack at it. Do it sort of as best as you can, and go and make sure you do that before she comes home, and then also make sure you get that luxing done as well.
Yeah. Luckily, it only takes about 3 minutes to clean the whole house here, so I'll make sure it's well and truly clean. Good stuff.
Yeah, good job, James. No, well done. Yeah. Hey, thanks for your enthusiasm. Thanks for your banter tonight. Thanks for joining us, everybody that's listening, and a super big thanks to Cam, Craig, and Kim for joining us tonight. Great insights, and as ever, super stoked to present the show to you guys as well.
Absolutely. Thanks to Team CP, your endurance coaching specialist. Stay tuned, stay live, stay safe, and we'll see you again for another Wednesday Night Live coming to you via the airwaves very soon. Good night, everybody. See ya.
Cheers. Yeah.